Thank you for being here for morning story time. Hello to everyone in the front. Very good sense of style for people in the reds and oranges and greens and red, white, and blues. Good to see everybody today. I say we get into the story, shall we? All right. Small correction. I'll be reading the actual story, Elbow Grease, because Elbow Grease versus Motozilla is not yet out. It's coming out in the fall, and I'm very excited about it. And if you like this story, we got another one on the way. So hopefully you'll enjoy this one and the next one. All righty. This is the story of Elbow Grease by me. Okay. He's a little smaller than the other monster trucks, but he's proud of what makes him different. Win or lose, he always tries his best. That's what me, John Cena, calls gumption. And Elbow Grease would say, I'm unstoppable. Elbow Grease. That tickles. Flash. Come on, Bo, the story's starting. Pinball. Technically, at this point, the story has already started. Tank. What story? And then Crash. Last one there's a hunk of junk. Elbow Grease. Hey, that's me. Okay. Elbow Grease was the smallest truck in the demolition derby, but he never let that bother him. Why should I? His brother Tank was tougher. His brother Flash was faster. His brother Pinball was smarter. And his brother Crash was braver. Okay, we get the point. What Elbow Grease had was gumption. You got that right, Buster. He always tried his best, and he never, ever gave up. Ouch! Ah! Oops. Yow! At night, Mel the mechanic plugged in Elbow Grease to charge while the other truck slept outside. Sometimes his brothers teased him for being different. He's got a plug. He's stuck to the wall. He's got a lithium-ion battery, which requires external power source for daily recharging. He's got a plug. Elbow Grease didn't get upset. He was glad to be inside, especially during the storms. Yeah, have fun in the rain, you jalopies. But then one night, Mel brought home a poster of the Monster Truck Grand Prix. Elbow Grease said, someday I'm going to be on a poster. And all of his brothers laughed. You're too slow. You're too small. Your technique and experience are insufficient to compete at a professional level. You're too, Hey, don't hurt yourself, Tank. That made Elbow Grease so mad that he zoomed off to the Grand Prix by himself to prove his brothers wrong. I'll show those jalopies what I can really do. In the morning, Elbow Grease was exhausted. He'd been driving all night without a charge. But when he arrived at the Grand Prix, he felt his circuit surge with excitement. He quietly rolled onto the track and snuck into position behind the monster trucks at the starting line. The race was about to begin. On your mark, get set, go! The other trucks were bigger. The other trucks were faster. The other trucks had more experience and better technique. But Elbow Grease wouldn't quit. Never give up. He fell behind, but he kept on trucking. Oof. He got covered in mud, but he kept on rolling. Yuck. He got bashed and smashed and even caught fire a little bit. But still, he kept on going. Owie kazowie! Halfway through the race, it started pouring rain. The thunder rumbled, lightning flashed, and all of a sudden, Elbow Grease's engine shut down. His battery was completely dead. Aw, rust buckets. Elbow Grease was stuck. For the first time, he'd wondered if his brothers were right, and he started to cry. I'm not crying, I'm just cold, and I'm tired, and I'm scared of the light. Crack-a-lacka! Boom, shakalaka! The lightning jolted the battery back to life. Elbow Grease barely had enough charge to keep going, but he didn't give up. He didn't give in no matter what. He would finish this race even if he came in last. Mel and Elbow Grease's brothers arrived just in time to see him rattle across the finish line and collapse in a heap. The winner's celebration was already over. Ugh. Look, Bo, most trucks couldn't even make it to the finish line. Just then, the winner of the race rolled by. Well, shift my gears and call me Sally. This kid's got gumption. You boys could learn a lot from him. Crash was shocked. Big? Flash was stunned. Wheels? Pinball was intrigued. McGee? Tank was confused. Who? And Mel knew that Big Wheels McGee was right. If you only stick with what you're good at, you'll never learn anything. So, the next time your problem seems too big or too hard, just remember, a little elbow grease goes a long way. The end. Yeah, sure. Now that we're through the story, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'll play Rover. So if we have any questions, I'll come to the audience and you can ask a question. Who's got a question? Let's see some hands. All right. Yeah. What's your name?
Roberto Otero,
Roberto, what's your question?
where do you start becoming an author?
This is actually my first book, and it was released last fall, so I became an author last fall.
Great. All right, right here.
Thanks for answering my third question.
You're very, very welcome.
Hi. What's your name?
Thank you.
Marty. My name is Marty.
Marty,
And
nice to meet
we met each other in the one that is the Barnes and Nobles.
you. Okay.
And have you ever got writer's block when you started to did this book?
It was very difficult for me to try to send a message in a language for young readers because I'm used to speaking a certain way. So a lot of times it was really, the holdup was taking the message I wanted to send and putting it in a language that everyone could understand. But once you kind of develop the characters and the theme for the story, it actually goes pretty quick. Yes, you can give me your J-Hope BTS card. I'm a secret member of the Army. Those who know. Thank you.
Great. What's your name?
Holden Stencil. If you could wrestle like a classic wrestler, who would it be?
If I could wrestle a classic wrestler, who would it be? That is a great question. I would want to wrestle someone whose WWE credentials, like their championship record, was impeccable, who's wrestled a lot of WWE matches, who's been showcased in many WWE WrestleManias. If I could wrestle a classic WWE wrestler, I would wrestle John Cena.
Great answer. No? Okay. All right, go.
What other questions do we have today?
Greg. What's up, John? How are you?
Pretty good, man.
Nice to talk to you. So I have my two nephews here, big fans.
Yep.
One of them just had surgery. The other one's taking care of him. Any advice for them for
Where are they at?
recovering? Just
Who's the one that had surgery? Okay, do your physical therapy. And who's the one helping the one that had surgery? Yes? You owe your brother big. And thank you very much for being a good brother. I often say you're only as good as your support system, and it seems like you got a really good one right there, so you should be thankful for that.
Jace, how long did it take you to make this book?
The question was, how long did it take me to make this book? The book is, how many pages? Thankfully, the book doesn't have a page count because I was going to break it down to see how many days per page it took. From start to finish, this book, I know it's printed big, but it's really thin, took me 2.5 years. So it took a long, long time. It was a lot of hard work. There were times I think I wouldn't get done, but I never gave up. And today we have a book because of it.
And how long did it take you to do the follow-up?
The follow-up, it took about a year and a half. So if I keep cutting about a year off the process, books 4, 5, and 6 will come out in 5 minutes.
Sounds amazing. Hi, what's your name?
Axel. What was the first ever championship you had?
The first ever championship I had was won right here in New York at a building called Madison Square Garden. And the first ever championship was the United States Championship. And to win it, I had to defeat a 7-foot, 550-pound man called The Big Show. And it was at WrestleMania 20, and that was the first WWE Championship I won.
All right. What's your name?
Jeffrey, I met you 3 years. What inspired you to make your book?
Great question.
That's an easy answer. All of you. Every single one of you wearing shirts that say hustle, loyalty, respect, and never give up. That's a really important message for me, and it's something that you guys like. So I wanted to create a book with the same message and a bunch of different characters. So you could see me say never give up, and you could also see Elbow Grease and his family say never give up. So you are the reason I have the book.
Yeah. All right. What's your name?
Hyla. What was the purpose of making this book?
The purpose of making this book, I guess it was to take young readers on a fun ride so you guys get a good story that's fun and enjoyable, but also to continuously send a message that I think is really important, and that sometimes life will get tough, but never give up, because nothing worth anything was ever given away. You got to usually put some elbow grease into life.
Great.
Good questions today, guys.
what's your
And
name?
a great audience. Thank you
Hi,
very much.
John.
Yes. Hey, how are you?
Thank you. So my question is, so why a children's book over like middle grade or YA?
That's a great question, and it's simply knowing the people who are listening to my message. Having traveled the world and been able to perform in front of live audiences for over 15 years, I was able to see this every single night. And although, thank you, the internet and the meme stream for making me popular with young adults, it's for a different reason. They like to run around the house going, John Cena, dun, 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 which is a difficult book to translate, but you never know. Maybe we can do something like that. I saw the audience that connected with me and my message were these awesome young people right here. So I wanted to get a product that they could enjoy.
Sounds like John Cena dun da da dun would make a great audiobook. Hi, what's your name?
Lincoln. How many WrestleManias have you headlined?
How many WrestleManias have I headlined? I'd like to think that if I'm involved in a WrestleMania, that it's certainly a headline. My first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 19, and I think we're on 35, and I've been involved in every single ones from 19 to 35, so that's quite a bit.
Hey, John, I'm Sanu. How long does it take you to do your hair in the morning?
Well, it takes longer and longer as it gets more ridiculous and out of control. It used to take no time at all, as my $13 fade kind of took care of itself. I'm in a weird period of transition, so it's a lot of product involved, and I still don't know what I'm doing. But I'm facing my fears, and I'm just going with it.
All right, we got three more questions. Go ahead.
Hi, I am Cortana, and what advice do you give young readers?
What a question. What advice do I give young readers? Never stop reading, never stop learning, and like I said, life will get tough. Don't get frustrated, and don't be afraid to fail. Failure doesn't mean you're a loser. Failure just means something's got tough and you have to work harder to succeed. So don't be upset if you're not always the best, if things don't always come easy, and if you're not always at the top. I have never, ever started at the top, ever. I've always been the last pick. I've always been the worst one of the group. And I think the one thing I do better than most is just work hard, day in and day out, to inch my way forward. So the one thing I can tell young readers is literally never give up. That's a great question. Thank you.
Hi.
Who else?
To your right.
Yes, okay.
Hi, I'm Benjamin. And what inspired you to give your characters names?
So I wanted each of Elbow Grease's brothers to have one unique trait that they were really good at. Pinball's extremely smart, Tank's extremely big, Flash is extremely fast, Crash is extremely daring. So I think those words define that personality, but I wanted to make sure they were only good at that one specific thing, where Elbow Grease's quality is gumption, working hard, and he's not afraid to face things that he's not good at and try really hard to become as good as he can. So it kind of reminds me of a family that I grew up in. I come from a family of 5 boys. I had 4 brothers, and each of them was very gifted in one area. So I kind of wanted to make Elbow Grease's family like my family.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, my name's Hunter. I saw the movie Bumblebee,
Yes.
and you like acting in movies better than wrestling?
Ooh, that's a great question. First of all, thank you for seeing the movie Bumblebee. I had a lot of fun doing that. And the question was, do I like acting in movies better than I like life in WWE? Right now, don't tell anybody, and this is just me and you talking and no one can hear. I just turned 42 years old, and I have been in WWE for a long, long time, and it is the thing that I absolutely love the most. So in honestly answering your question, I really love WWE more than anything, but the WWE superstars nowadays, you can see the guys on Monday Night Raw, they're really young, they're really fast, and they're really strong, and I really need a lot more practice in order to keep up with them. So I can't have as many matches as I used to. So I like being able to entertain, I like being able to talk to people, and movies give me a good chance to do that. But I gotta be honest, I love WWE more than anything.
All right, last question right here. Actually, let me walk around. So that. All right, last question.
As your audience grows and as your character evolve, are you planning to do a series
Of the books.
of the books?
Yeah, like I said, I'm here today at BookCon to let everybody know that we have another book coming out in the fall. And I don't ever think too far ahead. I really try to put my effort into one thing and do it well. And if it's a success, then I'll do it again and do it again and do it again. So I would love for there to be 100 Elbow Grease books. But the next Elbow Grease book, Elbow Grease versus Motozilla, also has the concept of growth mindset, which is very important in young reader psychology. But it also weaves together working well with others. So the family has to come together to overcome a very difficult obstacle. So it showcases never giving up, and it also showcases teamwork.
Great. Round of applause.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me here today. I know I'll probably see some of you later on when we sign stuff. And really, thank you very much for listening to the story. I hope you liked it. And hopefully I'll see you guys as we go over and take pictures and sign stuff.
Yeah, and
Thank
great.
you so
And
much.
And also